Masiari, Ninjani, Sanbonani. Welcome to our 7th episode of Tellsomeone. You know what we do? We've been telling it better than the rest. We are doing very well. I mean, we are in our 7th episode. We're still running. The show is still coming to the people and stuff like that. That is why even today I've got my friend here, Hulisani Malaka. How are you?
I'm good, man. Why do you bring the favor in? I'm good. I'm good, man. Thanks for having me.
I think we studied together. I never got to hear the name Favor when we were growing up. It came as a surprise to me that no Favor, you know.
Yeah, it's something that came, I think, after varsity. Yeah, it happened when I started working in media, actually.
Yeah.
So people would ask me to run around and stuff. So people started calling me Favor from that. Yeah.
Konja, you are into media. Yeah? Yes. How is it like to be in media? You know? Like this crew that is here.
Well, it's fun more than anything. It's people who are doing what they love. So you wouldn't find somebody who's because you know when you get to work, it's fun. You know, we're working with people.
And you know, it came as a surprise to many of you, to many of us who actually studied with you. Huli is into media now. You know, we thought you'd be an attorney. We thought, how does it feel like to just follow your career path? You know, something that you enjoy. You know.
Yeah. I would say it's something that. It's very difficult actually in a black community. Like a lot of things are difficult in a black community. It took me years to convince my parents, first of all, that, you know what, guys, I want to do media. What is media? TV, like how radio, what do you mean, you know? But eventually as they see the progress, they get to understand.
I mean, I know for a fact that, you know, you don't just, as a black person, enter into a media stream without any comments from parents. You know, go can we see what that you know how we roll. You know, the reason why we invited you here today is because you are very vocal on various social media platforms, on Twitter, Facebook, you are on TikTok, you are on YouTube, you are everywhere. You are speaking about something called, it's an acronym, ne?
Yes.
LGBTIA.
Yes, LGBTQ.
Yes, I nearly said it correctly. I think, let me, for fear of offending other people, let me say it correctly. LGBTQIA.
Yes.
I said it right.
Yes.
What are you advocating? What are you saying?
I wouldn't say I'm advocating more than anything. I prefer educating.
Yes.
My ways of educating might be a bit off, but I feel like it's easier to communicate with people when you are joking about serious matters.
Yes.
That's the only way people actually get to open up and feel free to ask what they don't know. So for me, I don't want to be I don't want to say I'm an advocate because you know there are some things that I can't defend.
Yes,
you know, I'm not for everything, but you know, since this is what we have been given or defined as, that's the only way to actually educate people. But yeah, basically, it's homosexuality.
So LGBTQIA is homosexuality.
Basically.
What is that? When you say
it's sexuality.
You are raising big terms, you know.
It's a branch of sexuality. Like I think there's a whole lot actually that it's just that we concentrate more on the ones that we are introduced to rather. So it's I would say it's part of sexuality basically. and it's very private.
I think I think it will be proper if we can just break down the acronym.
Yeah.
You know, let's deal with that.
So I prefer to not break down everything. No, let me tell you why. Because let's break down what we can identify for now, what we have access to. So now what I know is that most of the people know what a lesbian is. They know what a gay. Okay, the L stands for lesbian, and then the B stands for bisexual, and then the T stands for transgender, and then I stands for intersex. And then Q stands for queer, and then A stands for asexual. So we're gonna do the LGBT.
Yeah, the LGBT. Yes.
Because I think if the only person that people might have not come across yet in Limpopo would be a transgender.
Yes, yes.
Which, yeah, they are there. It's just a matter of.
We've got transgender in Limpopo.
Yes, a lot. A lot.
You've come across one?
A lot. Not one. A lot.
Okay.
A lot, yeah. So basically, I would say if we are talking about a lesbian is a woman who's attracted to other women sexually. Meaning that this is a woman who would never look at a man and have sexual attraction towards that opposite sex. And then gay guy is a man who is attracted to other men. It doesn't make that man, or it doesn't make the lesbian a boy, or it doesn't make the gay guy a girl, or want to be a girl. They're just gay, they're just lesbian. Attracted to women, attracted to men. And then bisexual. A bisexual is a woman or a man who's attracted to both genders. Like you could be bisexual, maybe. It's possible that you don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. So when we say bisexual, it's a man or a woman who's attracted to both genders, meaning that they can date both. They can sleep with both. Basically, okay. Over 18.
When they're over 18.
Yeah, they can sleep with both genders. And then, yeah, we can tackle those four, because I think people are more familiar with those.
No, this is today. No, I know Tellsomeone always takes an opportunity to educate the public.
Yes.
Today I'm very focused. Hey viewers, I'm focused today. I don't want tomorrow to be perceived as somebody who's being homophobic and stuff like that. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that, yeah.
So, but how come you have taken an interest on these issues?
Personally, for me, I grew up in Vleefontein.
Yes.
And for the longest time, I was probably the only gay in the village. I was probably the only lesbian, or the only out there lesbian in Vleefontein. It's the pressures of growing up without the education, or growing up without somebody to help me identify what's going on with me, made me realize that if it happened to me, clearly there's somebody else out there who's just like, okay, what's happening? How do I do this? What's going on? You know? So my thing is that let's talk about this more so that your child can understand their friend or themselves.
You know why? I'm actually impressed. You know, I look at lesbians and gays. Okay, maybe let me not first ask this question. When did you actually realize that I'm this person? When did you actually realize that I need to come out?
Okay, can I do something?
Yes.
I'm gonna ask you a question.
No, ask me.
Yeah. When exactly did you realize that you were straight?
No, it was when I remember. It was when
think very carefully of your answer, because I need that realization moment when the idea globe pops up on your head and says, "Oh, I'm straight."
No, I just looked at a particular woman, even at a young age. You know, when we were at school, it's not a secret that when we're still young, you know, grade 2, 3, 4, and 5, when we like a girl, we then start to bully her. It was our way of demonstrating that I'm into this.
So before you decide to start bullying her. So you are saying you had a question of if you are gay and if you are straight.
No, I just knew that and that feeling has never changed.
Are you hearing me?
No, maybe ask
before you bullied the girl you like, before you decided you like the girl, did you sit down with yourself and say there's gay and there's straight?
No.
Which one am I? Did you do that?
No, I did not.
Okay, thank you.
No.
Let me answer your question. Thank you. Thank you. Let me answer your question. The word realize for me doesn't work, and the word choice doesn't work, because if you see the LGBTI in our community, it's an abomination.
Yes.
It's a taboo topic. It's something that you can't even go home and start it.
Hence my question.
Not even home, like with a friend, you know. So in my right mind, I cannot wake up in the morning and decide I want to be abnormal and be hated by the whole community. You know?
Yes.
There is nobody who wakes up and says, I'm choosing to be mentally disturbed.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Or I'm choosing to sleep with men. You will never, let's say tomorrow, wake up tomorrow and take that decision. You know, I can give that assignment to everybody. If you actually give me 10 people to wake up tomorrow and say, I'm homosexual, you know, and then come and ask me that question of when did you decide? It was not a matter of decision for me. I knew I liked women from probably around the age of 4, you know, and you notice those things when you are young, as you're growing up. There are older people that you love, like you don't know how to explain it, like your neighbor, or you'd find you have an older person who's like, no, or no, or this is my kid, or I'm gonna raise this person as my wife, and that kid loves you, you know. For me, it was more on women. I followed women. I wanted to be where women are, you know. My comfort was more around women. But as I grow up, I realized that no, man, there's no such thing as I can date a woman. These are things I used to say to my mother when I was young. Like, you know, but people take it as it's just a kid who's talking. But then, as you grow older, you realize that okay, there's no gay people, or there's no woman who's dating a woman. And then there's church, and then the Bible says a man and a woman should leave their mother's houses and be together. I'm like, okay, no, this is not it. Which means I have to do this one, because that's all I know at the moment. But I know what I'm feeling.
Yes.
But I can't identify, I can't define it, because I've never seen any gay person in my life, you know. So I would say when I was in grade 7, I think I kissed the first girl in grade 7. When I was attending school in Ntabarara primary school. It's a private school in Ntabarara. Yes. This is where I learned all this English. So I think even with that, in primary, when I was kissing this girl, there was nothing abnormal about it for me. Even her, or even the people around us at school, we were just, oh no, they kiss.
So you never got into trouble?
No, there was nothing trouble about me kissing a girl. You know, if you remember Chiawero, we used to play spin the bottle.
Yes, I've kissed you before.
Exactly. You know, and spin the bottle, I was the only girl who would agree to kiss a girl. You know, like as we are playing, I was the only girl who would say, yeah, no, if it points at a girl, I will kiss the girl, you know. But I didn't know that I'm actually attracted to women, you know. I didn't know. No, not okay. I knew I was attracted to them. I didn't know how to identify it, you know, or define it.
Yes.
So as I grow, my brother passed matric, went to Joburg. He experienced life in Joburg, you know, had a few friends who were lesbian, you know. So when he comes home, he watched me, you know, he was like, hey.
There are similarities to what I'm seeing.
This person is like, they're a bit similar, this one. So I think he would just be normal with me. He didn't, my brother has never asked me if I had a boyfriend. You know, even when I did, like I dated a guy for a good 4 years, you know, and then he would, I don't know, I think for now when I think about it, I think he was channeling me to not apologize, to not feel the need to explain myself, you know. So eventually when I wrote my matric, he invited me to come visit in Joburg. So when I got to Joburg, as he introduces me to his friends, he says, this is my little sister, she's a lesbian. I was offended. No, honestly, I was offended. I was like, no, what's that? Like, what do you mean? And I didn't ask him. I just, you know.
What was creating that feeling of discomfort? Why?
I think the fact that the word itself for me sounds like less or something, you know.
Yes,
like you're why, you know. So I didn't tell him that, you know, like this is uncomfortable or whatever. I actually went back and went to the dictionary to learn to read what a lesbian is. And as I was reading the definition of a lesbian, I was like, this is me. Like with no reasonable doubt, this is me. Like I cannot even deny it anymore. I had a girlfriend in grade 12, but the only thing that made it possible, I think, is because she was from Joburg when she came to Murunga. So she knew me from the minute she saw. She's like, no man.
And they were Josie did clever.
So we dated without anybody knowing. Only the two of us knew that we are a couple. But the rest just saw friends. Like, oh, those two are best friends. No, we were dating. You know, we were in a relationship.
So,
yeah.
So, but tell me, as in when you were doing grade 8 up until grade 12, there was never at any point where you had a discussion with an elder about how you were feeling, just so to check if maybe what you're feeling is right or not?
There was, actually. If you remember, we had eagles.
Yes. Very, very knowledgeable. This active Christians from varsity.
You see, they would come here and interact with the youth, and so I had a couple of ladies, actually 3, that I spoke to, and only 2 actually took interest in what I'm saying, and that's when I learned that there's what do you call that verse in the Bible? That Leviticus, Sodom and Gomorrah. Yes, and that was, I was in grade 11, I think, when I met them, and I learned of all how it's an abomination in the Christian world and everything. But I'm here, I'm feeling this thing, you know. I'm not saying I'm right about it, or I'm not saying it can be fixed, you know, but I'm feeling it. If there's a way to fix it, let's fix it. I'm willing, you know. Like, there was nothing I was willing to do than, if it's a demon, get it out. Because I don't want to have it, you know. If it's wrong, how do I then not do it? Or how do I then practice to do the other thing? I tried. I had a boyfriend, and my boyfriend told me that I'm gay. You know, on a serious note, like the person, I think I was fortunate to date a guy who's gentle, who's more open, who listens and who wants to learn things, you know. So as we were dating, and there was gay, you know, in high school we get to that point where everybody's starting to have sex, and you know, boyfriends get to no you know. So that guy never even got to that, you know. He when that time came, he said to me, like, hanyagi girlfriend. You know, because when I say to you, baby, I want that girl's reverse, you like, hey, yeah, you know. so it's like, no, man, no, I think you like girls, you know. Yeah, so I would say I was fortunate enough to date a guy who doesn't suffer from peer pressure. You know?
Yes.
And as I think even after he let me be free about being attracted to girls and talking about girls, I used to talk to him in the late hour when they were my friends, you know, and I would share girls for them. Like, there's a lot of girls, just that they won't tell you, but there's a lot of girls who dated them after I actually went and said, ish. Check and feed too.
So I think the other thing that we need to assess here is how did your family take this whole thing? Because I know for a fact that you are from a Christian family and stuff like that, and there are verses that are totally against the LGBT arrangement.
So for me, I think the minute I knew that the Bible is against the homosexuality, I froze it, if I can say it like that. I dimmed that light inside of me. You would know everything about me, but the fact that I'm gay, you would know everything else. I am an open book. I am somebody that I don't have secrets. I say what I need to say. But I felt that in order for me to not, because you know, you see a lot of stories of, oh, this child came out and the mother died, or this child came out, the mother got stroke, or the father killed the child, or the father raped the child. You know, there's a lot of stories that go with coming out. So also personally, I felt that if my brother didn't go to my mother, or if my sister didn't go to my mother and say, hey ma, I started sleeping with girls, what's the point of me doing that?
Yes.
Why should I now go announce to my mother that I'm having sex? You know, it's for me, it was more disrespectful than me trying to hide that I'm gay, you know. So I think I let them decide, you know. I didn't put myself in a position where I need to sit them down and say, ma, I'm gay, or daddy, I'm gay, you know. I told myself that as we go, they will see and decide. And whatever they decide is not about me, it's about them. And I have to let them be, because if I push my agenda, it's gonna cause a lot of conflict, it's gonna cause a lot of separation as well. So there was a time when I was doing my first year, when I was doing my first year in the TEF, my parents came. Apparently somebody who works in Pulukwani saw me with a girl, kiss a girl at the robots. Saw me kiss a girl at the robots, and then they decided to come back home and tell my parents, no, Huli, wait as a lesbian, you know. So my parents actually drove all the way, you know, to Pulukwani to come sit me down and ask me this, you know. That's when I realized the lethalness of my position. They drove to Pulukwani, they came, we had lunch. Just before they left, we were in the car. My dad says to me, "You will quit as a lesbian now." And I'm like, at that moment, I had two options: to deny, or to finally say, this is my way. Yes. Let me finally tell them. Yeah. But the way he asked me, because I listen to emotions when I'm talking to people. He was angry, and I didn't understand what if I was going to, if I had asked him, why are you angry? I don't think he would have had an answer, you know. So I decided to lie and say, no, Ne. There's no way.
Yeah.
Why? So una boyfriend na? No. Why don't you have a boyfriend? I'm like, no, do you want to run up at the school? You know, sound responsible, man. Sound like you have a plan. Sound like you have a plan. But at the time, personally, it ripped me apart. Like it killed me to see the reaction they have before they even know actually, or before they are told by me. So that in itself made me dim myself. It made me say, yes, you are gay. It's fine. You have established that about yourself.
Yes.
Now, as much as it was difficult for me to accept myself, how easy will it be for the next person if they're not me?
This is sexually very touching.
Do you get it? Yeah. Like if I took so long to stand in the mirror and say, Huli, you are fine.
And then were there no prayer warriors that would take to come? No, man.
I think the only problem is that they didn't actually say for this specific thing, but I knew because I grew up in church. I was the chairperson for the youth for a very long time. I had a very good choir at the time. I had a very good choir at the time. That was all me. If you know the Faith Mission choir, that was all me. So for me, I consider myself a Christian.
Yeah.
And it's very hard for people to understand because I'm gay. And there's nothing I can do about it. I know I'm gay. Even God knows that, So for the religious side, instead of me wanting to prove the Bible wrong, I would rather prove God right, like I'd rather prove God right, and God is the truth, the light, the truth and the light, So if I'm lying, I'm not praising God in any way.
Are you still a Christian?
I'm a Christian.
But when all these things are happening, there is your family, a highly Christian family, and you are seen to be in the L. Didn't you at some point think that, no man, maybe what I am is in contrast with the Christian values and beliefs and stuff like that? Didn't you somehow feel like, why continue with Christianity, because I am the opposite of what Christianity stands for?
I actually got angry with God, because in as much as, okay, when I say I tried to be straight, my trying was more inside than me saying I went and dated a guy. I couldn't get to that. That's how bad it was. In as much as I can say, okay, let me entertain Rendani, he's texting me about dating and stuff. I can entertain you, but we will never meet. You know what I'm saying? We will never get to a point where I'm like, yeah, let me go meet Rendani and see how this thing goes. Because already in my head, I'm dominant. What you say to me is what I say to a girl. So to me, it sounds very stupid. It's like when a man shells you, you'll be like, you can't do to me what I do to women. So for me, I got angry at God per se, because I asked myself, or I asked God, if you didn't make me this way, why is it that when I go to pastors and all these people, this demon doesn't come out? If it's a demon, take it out.
Yes.
I'm willing, I'm here. I can take all of my clothes off and lie down on the floor. Because that's how for me, I would say I derailed from the word Christianity to spirituality. Because Christianity is limiting. Not limiting, is the right word. It's limiting, If I'm gay, I cannot praise God, apparently. And also what I know is that everything, even now, Renani, as we are talking, I can ask you a question, how do you know that you are alive? How do you know that you are living right now?
You seem to be asking the most difficult questions ever since you arrived on this.
No, like as we grow, we are born into a system, a teaching.
Yes.
Everything that you are, you learnt. Everything that you do, you learnt. So when you are born, you are taught that you are alive. But what if we are dead? What if we were living before? And then when you die, you are then born into earth.
Yeah.
Because you're a spirit. So if you're a spirit, meaning that your spirit was alive before before you were born.
Hi. Babe, don't forget her. She's good with the tongue. Yeah.
You know? So for me, I realized that, fine, teach me what the Bible says. But what works for me, works for me. Even if here are the 10 commandments. But if I find you raping my daughter, I'm going to kill you. Do you understand? Fine, the 10 commandments are there. And in the 10 commandments, there is no homosexuality.
Yeah.
In the 10 commandments.
Well, I've never actually checked, eh?
Okay.
No, I'm gonna, you know why I believe this is very educational? Because I'm gonna go back,
yes,
reassess the 10 commandments one by one, trying to check whether, you know.
So for me, I feel I got to a point where I felt like if you are going to allow a murderer, a rapist, a woman abuser into church to stand on the podium and say, God, you know, but you can't allow a lesbian or a gay person, the purest people on earth. Most times, I'm not saying everybody, all gay people are pure, but most times the only sin that person has is being gay.
So tell me here, because I know for a fact that you grow up with friends and stuff like that. Now, I also spend a lot of time with you. And at that time, I could not even... So the parents of these friends, they didn't have that mentality or no, this one is just going to brood demons into my child and stuff like that.
Honestly, to be honest, my parents' friends are amazing. Like people I call my friends, their parents are amazing. Like for me, I sometimes stood and wished that, I wish Papo's mother was my mother, you know, which I'm not saying there's anything wrong with my mother. It's immediate with my mother, you know. Papo's mom doesn't stay with me, but her level of acceptance.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Or let's say Kabelo's parents, you know. These are people who, at home, they want to teach you before they know you. Outside, people know you before they try and teach you. You know, we get to know Rendani because, like, when you were reading the dictionary in grade 8, you know. do you understand what I'm saying? But at home, it might have been a bit difficult for your mother to say, why would you talk about a dictionary? You know, your mother would actually be fighting or go wash the dishes and not don't read the dictionary because she doesn't see the results of that dictionary. But we see the results. That's the Rendani we meet first. Do you get it?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the Rendani we meet first. Rendani speaks good English, man. You know, let me interact with Rendani in English. So I think it was easier with them because they met me in my fullness without me hiding anything.
Yeah.
And they realized that like this person is actually better than my child. You know, this person is actually well-mannered. This person, you know, you know, when we advise, she listens. When, you know, but for me, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I blame my parents for their reaction or how they are learning, or I won't blame them that they are slow, or if they will eventually accept it or not. But an experience is different according to how close it is to you. You get it?
Yeah.
So I am very much comfortable if my parents never accept me. Do you get it?
Yeah, no,
Yeah. Even though it's not what I want, but I don't think I would ever stand and say my parents are bad parents, because their belief does not allow them. Do you get it?
Yes.
Their belief does not allow them to accept it or to take it as a norm. You know?
Favor, she's here. You are now. You are now free. You are just so free. A person can just say, "Will you want a lesbian?" And then you say, "Eh?" How do you feel? I mean, after everything, I mean, the community itself, you know, was there ever any form of rejection from the community, homophobic stance and stuff like that, until you arrive where you are? I mean, we've dealt with your family, with the church, with your friends, but I feel the viewers out there would want to understand your interaction with the community, you know? For
me, let me give a bells to my community before anything. Flayfontaine. You guys. So I would say, in my community, yes, there's been homophobic comments, there's been homophobic stance or homophobic actions towards me, you know. And for me, I think it was easier to maneuver, because offense for me is something that I got to learn to define when I was very young. You know, my siblings, to start with, I have the most cruel siblings ever in my life. Like, I knew I had squint eyes when I was 3 years old. You know? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I would say my siblings did most of the bullying before I could go out there and fear the community, you know. So my confidence came from my siblings. So I learned that if they made me comfortable enough to know that I'm squint and not be bullied about it in school, you know. Kids are cruel, bruh. Like, imagine primary when, you know, kids are playing and they're like, like, do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, for that not to affect me in school, it was because I had already learned to accept myself from home, you know. So before I wouldn't say I came out to the community. Did I ever come out to you?
No. You know why I'm saying this? You are free, like you. Yes. You are just so free.
So I didn't. I would say because I didn't come out. I was just me. Like, from the beginning, I was just me. I didn't see the need to explain. I didn't see the need to ask for permission. You know? You
know, there are hostile communities around this issue.
I want to tap onto that. So with my community, the reason why I'm giving my community a bells is that we are very educated. we are very adapting. Yeah. You know, we are very friendly, and especially towards strange things. Before we judge, we want to know. Yes. We want to learn. And there are people that I notice, or this one is trying to offend me, you know, but I don't take offense. This other guy the other day, hey, casta seminya. You know? And I'm like, oh, sure, you know, But nendo nakopera casta. Do you get what I'm saying? So in that, if he had said, "Hey, casta siminya," and I'm like, "Futsai kasne casta." Sorry for the language. Kasne casta, like that's disturbing my peace.
Yes.
And it's not about me.
Yeah.
If he thinks I look like casta, it's okay. Hi. Bye. I think homophobia is more of a. I don't know, because you're not afraid, Muna. A phobia is something you're afraid of, you know. A phobia is something that would kill you, you know. Unaphobia, you know. Unaphobia is nochi, you know. Like as one now, you know. You cannot have a phobia. Chituchine was reacted, kacho. So what's your reaction that I'm lesbian? Why? What? You know. So I would say, Uri, for my community, before anything else, I think the not coming out thing helped me, because people just related to me as Huli. The most interesting thing about me is not that I'm lesbian. I'm very interesting.
You're diverse.
Apart from the fact that I'm lesbian, you know. So I think people got to know me in my community, specifically to not, for the homophobia to not be too much, you know, and also for the fact that I don't take offense. I feel like people who want to offend other people are people who are hate. So hate people hate other people.
Yeah.
So if you want to offend me, there's something wrong with you. I'd rather give you a hug for calling me a stubborn. You know, like if you say, "Hey, stubborn," I'll come and say, "Does it hurt you?" Like, it is something that, you know, do you need a hug? It's fine, because when you turn around, I'll still stay the stubborn that you called me. You know, it's not gonna change me. You know, your opinion does not now come and make me question myself. I questioned myself when I was a baby. I cannot be having those questions right now, you know. So outside the community to outside Flefontaine, it's tough, yo. I know it's tough to even go to Louis Richard. You know, I think these days it's a bit better because people see more lesbians and other gays and what. So for me, this other day when I was in Louis Richard, I was working with one of my exes that I was dating at the time. We passed this at the market, so these guys were just sitting there, you know. So this guy says, "Hey, you know." So I turned and I said to him, "Muzana ni miao." You know, all those guys that he was sitting with laughed at him, like. And for me, that thing showed me that if I had turned around and said, "Yeah, I don't have to explain myself to you," no. If I had turned around and done that, he could have even beat me up, you know. But I turned and gave him the thing. When I answered him, I was looking straight at him, that I'm not going to apologize. You started me. So I'm not, whatever comes out of my mouth is what you fueled up, you know. So I'm not going to now sugarcoat myself to help you while you are offending me, you know. So it's hard, but you know, you live, you carry on, no matter what people say.
You know, there are you know, people have got a lot of questions. I mean, they apart from the fact that they've accepted that this is what is happening, this is existing, but they still have a lot of questions. Or otherly, if it's Huli and another female lady, and they're about to embark on sexual intercourse.
Oh, wow.
Is there allocated roles to say this one will perform the male duty and this one will perform the female duty? Because these are questions that people want to know. And others even say that you guys are wasting sex because you are just too preoccupied with the fingers when there's a real thing out there which can be of use.
I'm sorry to say this, but I feel like sometimes heterosexuals don't think. I'm sorry, you know, I respect everybody, but especially men, you know, because now, you know, I'm a girl, right?
Yes.
You know a lesbian means a woman. Before in every way you're gonna Google, if you type the word lesbian, it's gonna start with the word a woman.
Yes.
So when you come to me and ask who the man is, what exactly are you saying? How do I answer that question? Because now, if you come to me and say who is the man in your relationship, there is no man. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. Because if there was a man, I wouldn't be a lesbian. I would be a bisexual. Because maybe I'm with a man and a woman. But you cannot say there's a man in my relationship. Well, I'm not a man. If I wanted to be a man, I would be a transgender. You know,
yes.
I would be sitting here with you with beards, with a flat chest. It's very possible.
So how do you do it?
You want to know how we have sex?
but I want to. No, I'm sure the public wants to know. Or do you just kiss?
Can we have a segment about sex?
Is there a point where one says no, man, I'm not gonna do it with that one? Fingers are too small, like what we see here with.
I think same-sex sex, ne? It's more emotional than physical, and by that I want to say that for a man, sex is taking his penis and putting it in a vagina. You know, for a woman, sex is anything that makes a climax.
Okay.
For a woman.
Yes, I know.
Sex is anything. So you could take your penis and put it in your wife's
and still
not make a climax, you know. So that's where the confusion comes, you know. Sex for men is penetration. Sex for women
is satisfaction.
It's satisfaction and emotion.
And I'm told.
Apparently, you can find out. But people can come and find out, you know, ladies.
No, because I've seen. But listen, is it possible that there is a woman straight that can find comfort and satisfaction in the hands of a lesbian?
Yes.
I've seen it.
Yes, very much.
In fact, I've not seen, I've heard of it. One chickies and stuff like that.
It's very possible. It's I think problem sure as people, ne? Anything you don't understand, anything you don't experience firsthand, it's an abomination.
Yes.
It doesn't make sense. If I come with a box of pizza to you, you have never eaten a pizza. 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 You will deny with every point you have because you have never eaten the pizza, you know. But once you eat the pizza, you will be the one going to the next person to say, you know. There are girls who, okay, I like taking chances, you know. So I usually propose straight women, you know. And I don't know why, but for me, I am more into straight women than lesbian women. And I don't do it to prove a point. You know, it's just what's there for me. It's just what I prefer. So most women would tell you, hey, I'm strictly dickly. You know, no, I would never be with a girl, you know. And most of them say it in a very offensive way, or to offend rather, to say I know, you know. And you also don't know on my side, you know. So you cannot convince me of something I don't know, and I cannot never convince you of something you don't know. Do you get it?
Yes.
So it's something, the sexual part, the sex part, it's something that you will never understand unless you experience it.
And I'm told that even straight people, they always find comfort and pleasure with the finger and the tongue. And I'm told that lesbians use these equipments to satisfy themselves and stuff like that. Is it true?
Yeah, each to their own, actually. You know, they are lesbians who use toys. They are lesbians who prefer to not use toys. There are women who don't like penetration at all, like at all. You know, they, like I keep saying, there are women who are married today to men who have never climaxed but have 3 kids.
I've heard that on social media.
Yes, who doesn't know what a climax is. All she knows is that, okay, we're having sex, my man came, we are fine.
Do you have a solution to that?
No, the solution is sexual freedom, my friend. The one problem I have with heterosexuals, you guys are scared. You guys are scared of sex.
Yeah.
You love it, you advocate for it, but you are scared, guys. You are scared of not sex with the next person, yourself.
Yeah.
Your sexual preferences. You know, you it's very hard for you to go to Miavana and say, hey, Miavana, hey, namusingo kamisivato share custody, you know? And you find that those are the little things that you like, you know? You will never say that. So sexual freedom is the biggest problem with heterosexuals. It's not that you guys don't understand what a gay guy is. It's because you are scared. Yeah. You are scared to find yourself sexually.
Yeah, no.
Do you understand?
Yeah, no, I get
So for you, even if you are bisexual, the freedom to be freely bisexual will not come because you are scared of talking of sex, you are scared of learning your body self before anybody can touch you. You know, Rishi hapa ndo ngamrawa ndebe yange inonia left digita sonya, you know, I feel something, you know. You guys want to know everything before you learn, you know. you go to bed to baby way, hey, I tomato is such chanda. Now nachi such chanda, like guys, what's this? Like, what's this? I don't No, on a serious note, we can have this conversation again on another podcast, but guys, no.
No, we'll have part 2.
Yeah, no, guys. The only reason why people don't, not just sexy as gays or this guy, you men usually say, study, learn what happens. Learn what's going on.
Don't learn anything before.
Don't diss anything before you know it. Yeah. You know. Okay, maybe Somizi, maybe then, but Somizi says he already knew. You know. But the one 45 years old, check for prostate, but then you realize, oh no. Like, you know what I'm saying? The biggest problem before we can talk about, say, homosexuality and homophobia is sexual freedom.
You know, I've been meaning to ask you this question all my life. Have you ever sharpened a guy with a stinner?
Ish. No. Well, I wouldn't say necessarily I have, because every girl I've dated, honestly, I've only dated one lesbian, or every girl I've dated is straight, and most times I am fortunate to shelter them when they are single, because most times it's just somebody, maybe their ex, who would come and say, but I would never, personally, I would never, even no matter how much I like your girlfriend, Rendanity, I would never disrespect your relationship like that.
So
unless she comes to me and says Rendani is a douchebag, you know, Rendani, and I like it, obviously I'm gonna give her a shoulder to cry on.
You'll intervene. So have you ever had a situation where, because I know men can be very disrespectful, where you are with your person and this person is beautiful and this man just feel, no man, why is she with Huli?
Yes.
Huli is wasting resources.
Yes.
Why not I go and
a lot, even here at home, I experience it. Even here at home, I experience that mostly with guys who are not my friends, you know. Okay, I can, somebody like you, if you come to me when I'm with my girlfriend, you say, hey, you know, I would say, you know, but there are people who, man, like, also another thing I want to address, this thing of guys coming to a lesbian and saying, how do you know no, like, honestly, I'm asking you as a guy, like, if a guy says that to me, how does he know penis? I mean, what do you mean? Before I answer you, what do you mean? What do you mean I must come try it here deeper?
Yeah.
You know? And a lot of guys do it, and for me it's a compliment more than anything. Like, if I'm sitting with a girl and you're gonna come and want to share her, for me it's a compliment. Ujembo ndi blind as a person, you know?
Oh, hi.
You know?
To be honest with you, I really don't want this discussion to end, but honestly speaking, we have to wrap it up. But tell me, Huli, favor, are there are people who are listening to you now. They are probably not comfortable to have discussions with anyone in the community or in the vicinity. Are there any organizations that are dealing with this kind of things, and how do we get hold of these organizations? Because this thing is happening. Your experience, it's something that is affecting someone out there. How do we get hold of it?
Before we talk about organizations, for my community, I'm very much available. They know I have a lot of people who actually just inbox me to say, I think, you know, I think I have feelings for women, or I think I have feelings for men, and this is what's going on, and whatever. It's very difficult to not have somebody to talk to, especially. But I think in our time, it's like now in this generation, it's very easy to get information. You know, there's your Google, there's, you know, you can TikTok, you know, you can find out information without calling or going out to find another person. So I would say there is a lot of organizations nationwide actually, but also Limpopo, it's there's Limpopo LGBTI as a whole, and then under Limpopo LGBTI there's branches like your Vembe, your Pulukwani, your Malamulele side. You know, there's organizations that only deal with that section. So in Vembe we have Vembe LGBTI. You can find it on Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, all media platforms. So Vembe LGBTI was founded by Morulani Precious. She's the founder of the whole organization. So she advocates for LGBTI rights. We also have a pride. I don't know, most people don't understand what a pride is. But we also have a pride which is actually happening this weekend. That's 27. No, yeah, that's 27 at the Tiki. So within those organizations, there's awarenesses, there's pride, there's celebrations, there's, you know, like on Women's Month. So they go out and work with other organizations to let people know that we are out there, we exist. You know, if you have a problem maybe of acceptance also coming out and whatever, you can talk to them. You can find them very accessible on Facebook also.
Huli, thank you very much for coming to Tellsomeone podcast. I think this discussion today was very informative. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our show.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yes, please subscribe. Subscribe. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ramago Marendani, aka the SG. Subscribe.